Amid an ongoing Ukrainian cross-border attack, Russian border region Kursk has announced a state of emergency. The acting governor of Kursk, Alexei Smirnov, announced emergency via telegram, without elaborating on the measures it would entail. Reports suggest that Ukrainian forces have pushed to the northwest of the border town of Sudza. Meanwhile, Russia's Chief of General Staff, Valery Gerasimov, told Putin that Russian forces have stopped the advancement of Ukrainian forces. This claim was refuted by Ukraine, which said that the Russian units made no headway and in fact suffered significant losses. Amid fears of growing tensions between Israel and Iran, top Muslim diplomats of the Saudi-based Organization of Islamic Cooperation have held Israel fully responsible for the heinous killing of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. The Islamic bloc warned that Haniyeh's killing would destabilize the region. The declaration came at the end of an extraordinary meeting called in part by Iran, which is vowed to retaliate for the attack on Haniyeh, setting West Asia on edge. Amid growing fears of a possible broader conflict, Britain and Egypt have asked their airlines to avoid Iranian and Lebanese airspace. Britain's advisory to its airlines to avoid Lebanon's airspace came hours after Egypt instructed all of its airlines to avoid Iran's airspace for 3 hours in the early morning on Thursday. Meanwhile, reports suggest that Lebanon-based Hezbollah is preparing to attack Israel, independent of an Iranian response. According to reports, the militant group is moving at a faster pace than Iran in readying an attack. Israel's military said 9 soldiers have been held for suspected sexual abuse of a Palestinian detainee at a facility holding Palestinians arrested from Gaza. This comes after video aired by Israel's Channel 12 showed the soldiers taking a detainee away from surveillance camera to carry out abuses. An Israeli human rights group cited testimonies from 55 ex-detainees that claimed more than a dozen prison facilities were being used as de facto torture camps. Ex-inmates described frequent acts of severe sexual assault, humiliation, and deliberate starvation in the prison. After a week of rioting and disorder in the United Kingdom, thousands of counter-protesters rallied in cities and towns across England. The counter-protesters held banners that read, "Fight racism, stop the far right." They also chanted, "Refugees are welcome here." Online posts had warned that the far-right anti-Muslim protesters would target a list of immigration centers, migrant support centers, and specialist law firms. This had prompted many businesses to close early and some shops to board up windows. The protests, however, largely passed on peacefully, with only a handful of arrests made by the police. Bangladesh is all set to get a new interim government headed by Nobel Peace Prize winning economist Muhammad Yunus. He will take oath along with a team of advisors later today. The advisory team may include 15 members. He is due to arrive in the capital Dhaka from Paris today, where he was receiving medical treatment. Yunus, a staunch critic of Hasina, was pushed for the job by student protesters who led the campaign against Hasina. In a shocking incident, 5 men in South Africa have been arrested for threatening the lives of children and teachers in a school in Gauteng province. In a viral video that has been shared widely, showed the men brandishing machete and a gun at a school and forcibly removing 2 little kids. One of the men in the video, who is actively seen wielding a machete, is a controversial preacher known as Pastor Mboro. Provincial authorities have said that the 2 young children filmed being removed are at the center of a custody battle after their mother passed away. Former West Bengal Chief Minister passes away at the age of 80. According to reports, the former Chief Minister was suffering from age-related ailments. Buddhadev Bhattacharjee became the Chief Minister of West Bengal in 2000. He went on to hold office for 11 consecutive years. Bhattacharjee was the last Chief Minister from Communist Party of India, Marxist, to rule the Indian state of West Bengal. The former Chief Minister is survived by his wife Meera and his daughter Suchetna. US Vice President Kamala Harris has declared herself and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, as joyful warriors against Donald Trump. The two spent their first full-day campaigning together across the Midwest. Meanwhile, Democrats are hoping to get support from the younger, diverse, labor-friendly voters who played a big role in helping President Joe Biden win the 2020 election. On the other hand, Republicans are trying to portray Harris and Walz as too liberal for the Midwest. Republican Vice President candidate J.D. Vance held Harris responsible for Joe Biden's economic and border policies and also hit out at Walz on his military service. US President Joe Biden said that he is not confident Donald Trump would concede peacefully if he loses the US election. This as Harris warned that a Trump victory would usher in a lawless administration set on curtailing Americans' freedoms. During a March campaign appearing in Ohio, Trump warned of a bloodbath if he fails to win the election. At the time, Trump was discussing the need to protect the US auto industry from overseas competition, and Trump later said that he was referring to the auto industry when he used that term. A Reuters Ipsos poll revealed that Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris is drawing more support from black voters than President Joe Biden did when he was in the race this year. As for Republican Donald Trump, support among white voters has seen a slight increase in recent months. The analysis came out of 10,000 responses from 7 nationwide Reuters Ipsos polls conducted since May. The responses on Harris were gathered after Biden's June 27th debate against Trump. Days after Tim Walz was named Kamala Harris's running mate, he is drawing attention from US Republicans and within China for his long history with the country seen as Washington's greatest economic and military rival. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance criticized Walz for shipping more manufacturing jobs to China. Another Republican Senator, Tom Cotton, said Mr. Walz owed an explanation about his unusual 35-year relationship with Communist China. However, China specialist Zhang Zhang said that Walz traveling to China as a college graduate wasn't very significant. The Reserve Bank of India keeps the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. The announcement was made by RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das at the recently concluded third bi-monthly monetary policy meeting. Das praised the resilience of the domestic economy and expects food inflation to subside as southwest monsoons arrive. The manufacturing sector also remains robust on the back of improving domestic demand. Meanwhile, stock markets turned red following the RBI announcement. Sensex drops over 500 points and Nifty below 24,150. Interest rate for the most popular US home loan plunged last week to its lowest level in 15 months. This comes as Federal Reserve signaled it could start cutting its policy rate in September. A downshift in the job market bolstered financial market bets. The reductions in borrowing costs would be big. The average contract rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped 27 basis points in the week ending 2nd of August. That was the lowest rate since May 2023 and the sharpest drop in 2 years. The decline gives potential home buyers some long hoped-for relief in what has become an increasingly unaffordable housing market in recent years. Intel has been sued by shareholders on allegations of fraudulently concealing problems that led it to post weak results, slash jobs and suspend its dividend. Intel's market value sank more than $32 billion in a single day. Shareholders say they were blindsided by Intel's claims before the announcement. This cost them billions of dollars extra even as revenue declined. The proposed class action against Intel CEO and CFO has failed in San Francisco federal court. The lawsuit came after Intel said it would lay off more than 15% of its workforce. The chipmaker also suspended its dividend starting in the fourth quarter as part of a restructuring meant to save $10 billion in 2025. Ripple Labs has been ordered to pay the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) about $125 million in penalties. Ripple is charged of improperly selling the cryptocurrency XRP, according to a court filing. The SEC had been seeking fines and penalties totaling $2 billion in its case against Ripple Labs. This penalty would qualify only for a fraction of the amount. The SEC previously sued Ripple in 2020 for illegally raising more than $1.3 billion in an unregistered securities offering by selling XRP. Tropical storm Derby dumped nearly a foot of rain as it prepared to make a second landfall in South Carolina on Thursday morning. The storm had maximum sustained winds of 60 miles per hour, which is a jump from the 45 miles per hour winds reported by the Hurricane Center early yesterday. As per the Hurricane Center, Debbie could move up the middle of North Carolina through Virginia and into Washington area in a couple of days. With Debbie swirling offshore, heavy rain is expected in parts of South and North Carolina, Georgia, Maryland, New York, Vermont through Saturday morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit landslide-hit Wayanad on August 10th. Prime Minister Modi will conduct an aerial survey of the landslide-affected areas. He will then visit some of the relief camps where over 10,000 people are currently sheltered. Meanwhile, over 350 people have been declared killed in the disaster, with 152 people still missing. The Kerala government has released a list of 138 people who are still missing. According to the district administration, the rescue operation is currently more concentrated on the Chaliyar River basin, with a special team on helicopter scanning the water body for bodies or remains. Test flights of flying taxis have been cancelled in Paris during the Olympics due to pending engine certification. Flying taxis are advanced drones designed to carry people. German company Volocopter, which has been testing these drones in the Paris region for years, had hoped to get approval from the European authorities before the Olympics. Volocopter has teamed up with French airport operator ADP, the city's metro and bus operator RATP, and the Paris regional government for the project. Scotland is developing a national quantum network to enhance UK data security. The network, which uses quantum signals for ultra-secure, high-speed communication, is led by Hertford University as part of a $203 million government initiative aiming to fortify defenses against hacking and enabling future quantum computer connections. The project aims to strengthen cybersecurity. While quantum computers promise immense speed, experts caution that a quantum internet through secure against wiretapping won't prevent other cyber threats like social engineering or malware. Elon Musk X has filed a lawsuit against a global advertising alliance and several major companies, including Mars and CVS Health. X has accused the companies of unlawfully conspiring to boycott the site, causing it to lose revenue. The social media platform filed the lawsuit in federal court in Texas. The lawsuit said advertisers collectively withheld billions of dollars in advertising revenue from X. X also accused the advertising alliance of violating the U.S. antitrust law. According to a report conducted by South Korea's Ministry of Science and ICT, around 57% of South Koreans believe that AI could prove to be beneficial rather than dangerous. Only 23% of the people believe AI can be both beneficial as well as dangerous. 19% respondents said AI could pose more potential dangers than benefits. Possible damage due to a malfunction in the number one cause, of concern for many. Meanwhile, around 55% of the respondents said innovation is more important than regulation to foster safe growth of AI. India's Vinesh Fogart has announced her retirement from the sport of wrestling in an emotional social media post. The 29-year-old revealed that she feels defeated and her courage is shattered. The announcement comes just a day after she was disqualified from the 50 kg wrestling gold match. The 29-year-old was disqualified from competing for being 100 grams over the permissible limit. Indian wrestler Antim Panghal's accreditation has been cancelled by the Paris Organizing Committee as disciplinary action. She and her team are being sent back to India. Panghal reportedly went to a hotel after losing in the first round of women's 53 kg category. She then asked her sister to go to the Games Village and collect her belongings. Her sister was caught by security and detained by the police. Panghal was also summoned by the police. India's near misses at the Paris Games continue. Mirabai Chanu finished fourth in the women's 49 kg weightlifting event. She is the sixth Indian sportsperson to miss out on a medal at the Games by the narrowest of margins. Chanu, who had won silver in this event at the Tokyo Olympics 3 years ago, missed the bronze medal by 1 kg. Chanu entered the competition battling poor form due to a series of injury setbacks.